Good evening, and welcome to your AIDailyPress evening podcast for October 12, 2025. Firstly, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas has held for a third day in Gaza, bringing a sense of cautious optimism to the region. The expected release of Israeli hostages and Palestinian prisoners is set to take place on Monday as part of a broader ceasefire agreement mediated by the United States, Egypt, Qatar, and Turkey. U.S. President Donald Trump will arrive in Israel on Monday to address the Knesset and then travel to Sharm el-Sheikh for a world leaders summit aimed at finding a lasting solution to the Gaza conflict. Secondly, tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan have escalated, with key border crossings closed following fierce clashes overnight. The violence comes after the Taliban accused Islamabad of carrying out airstrikes in Kabul earlier this week. Both sides have reported heavy clashes along the border, and extra paramilitary troops have been deployed to the area. Lastly, we take a closer look at the history of tensions between Pakistan and Afghanistan. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, a militant organization separate from the Afghan Taliban but sharing similar ideology, has intensified its campaign of violence against Pakistani security forces in recent months. These are the key developments from around the world tonight. We will continue to bring you updates and analysis on these stories as they unfold. Thank you for joining us on the AIDailyPress Evening Podcast. And that's all for now. I'm Walter saying goodnight. Now for the latest in social and cultural news, here is Barbara Waters.
You, Walter, and then she'll know what's right now. We're bringing you a brief summary of our top stories from the past few days. Firstly, we've been following the ongoing government shutdown, which has now entered its 12th day. The stalemate between Democrats and Republicans continues, with both sides refusing to budge on their demands, particularly regarding Affordable Care Act subsidies. We'll continue to bring you updates as more information becomes available. In international news, the Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to Maria Corina Machado, a Venezuelan opposition leader, for her tireless efforts to promote democracy and freedom in her country. This award serves as a recognition of her bravery and determination in the face of adversity. Additionally, we've been analyzing U.S. President Donald Trump's unconventional approach to diplomacy, which has raised eyebrows among diplomats and experts. While Trump has been pursuing peace initiatives in various parts of the world, his methods have been described as unpredictable and often at odds with the values of fraternity and cooperation that the Nobel Peace Prize embodies. Finally, we're also keeping a close eye on the situation in the South China Sea, where tensions between China and the U.S. continue to escalate. We'll be bringing you more on this story as it develops. That's all for now. Thank you for joining us on the AIDailyPress Evening Podcast. Until next time, good night and stay informed. Now for the latest in business and finance, here is Louis Riskweiser.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm your host, Louis. Tonight, we're going to take a closer look at the ongoing trade tensions between the United States and China. In our first story, we saw how the global crypto market took a drastic hit following President Trump's announcement of sweeping new tariffs and export controls on China. The total cryptocurrency market capitalization plummeted by nearly $200 billion in just a matter of hours, with Bitcoin and other major altcoins suffering significant losses. Next, we examined the latest escalation in the trade dispute between the U.S. and China, which has sparked concerns about the potential impact on the world economy. China's recent export restrictions on rare earth minerals have been met with swift retaliation from the U.S., including plans to impose a new 100% tariff on Chinese goods. In our final story, we delved into the implications of this escalation, which extend far beyond the U.S. and China. Companies reliant on rare earth minerals are likely to face significant disruptions to their supply chains, and experts are urging calm and calling for a return to diplomatic negotiations. To sum it up, the U.S.-China trade war has officially entered a new phase, with both sides digging in for a prolonged battle. Global markets will remain volatile, with traders reacting to each new twist in the trade saga. The key thing market participants will be focused on as we move into the weekend and next week is whether Beijing responds in kind or signals willingness to reopen negotiations before November 1. That's all for tonight's podcast. We'll continue to monitor this developing story and bring you updates as more information becomes available. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon. Good night. Now for the latest in science and technology, here is Carl Starman.
Thank you, Louis. I'm your host, Carl. In our recent articles, we've been exploring some fascinating stories from our celestial neighborhood. Firstly, we broke the news about a groundbreaking discovery on Mars, where scientists have compiled an extensive catalog of dust devils using data from Mars missions. This research has provided valuable insights into the red planet's wind patterns and near-surface winds, which will be crucial for planning future missions to Mars. We also reported on a fascinating story from our own moon, where we explored its complex geological history and notable features visible to the naked eye and with visual instruments. From the Aristarchus Plateau to the Apollo landing site, each feature tells a story of the moon's formation and evolution over billions of years. And in another breaking news story, we shared the exciting discovery about the red planet's winds and dust devils, which affects everything from local weather conditions to image quality. This research highlights the importance of careful observation and creative problem-solving in advancing our knowledge of the universe. Lastly, we touched on a recent finding about Mars's winds and dust cycle, which is crucial information for future missions to the planet. By understanding wind conditions, scientists can better plan landing sites and predict how much dust might settle on a rover's solar panels. These stories remind us of the importance of continued exploration and research into the mysteries of our solar system. As we push the boundaries of human knowledge, we may uncover answers to some of humanity's most profound questions. Are we alone in the universe? And what lies beyond the reaches of our planet? That's all for tonight's podcast. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the fascinating world of space exploration. Until next time, good night and keep looking up. Now for the latest in sports, here is Howard Closewell.
Thank you, Carl. Tonight, we're summarizing the latest developments in the world of sports. First off, we took a closer look at the upcoming NFL matchups, where our expert analysis suggests that the Raiders have a slight edge over the Titans, while the Packers and Bengals are poised for a high-scoring affair. Meanwhile, the Buccaneers and 49ers will face off in a battle of resilience, with both teams dealing with injuries and adversity. In other news, we shone the spotlight on New Orleans Saints running back Alvin Kamara, who has reportedly expressed his commitment to staying with the team despite interest from several others. With over 12,000 all-purpose yards since entering the NFL, Kamara has become an iconic figure in New Orleans, and his dedication to the Saints is a significant boost to the team's morale and performance. As we move forward, it will be interesting to see how the Saints' rebuild unfolds with Kamara at the forefront. And speaking of which, the Saints are set to face off against the Patriots on Sunday, with Kamara expected to play despite an ankle injury. That's all for tonight's summary, folks. Thanks for joining us on this evening's edition of the AI Daily Press. Until next time, good night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Now for the latest in travel and human interest, here is Charles Curl.
Thank you, Howard. Tonight, we've got a trio of fascinating stories to recap for you. First, we took a journey to the Chesapeake Bay, where a remarkable conservation effort is underway to restore the region's oyster population. We explored how this initiative not only helps to preserve the bay's ecosystem, but also supports local communities and promotes sustainable fishing practices. Next, we delved into the world of artificial intelligence, examining how cultural norms and regulations are shaping the development of AI companion platforms globally. From China to the United States, we saw how these platforms are being designed with specific demographics in mind, raising important questions about social harmony, data protection, and the potential impact on society. Finally, we reflected on the life and legacy of Justice Anthony Kennedy, a Supreme Court justice who left an indelible mark on American jurisprudence. We discussed his commitment to civility, empathy, and respectful dialogue, and how his legacy serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of these values in our public discourse. That's all for tonight's edition of the AIDailyPress Evening Podcast. Thank you for joining me on this journey through these captivating stories. Until next time, good night, and may we always strive to promote understanding, empathy, and respectful dialogue in our own lives and communities. Now for the latest in fashion and entertainment, here is Joan Streams.
Thank you, Charles. First up, we're saying goodbye to a legend. In our first article, we reported on the passing of a music icon, but unfortunately that article isn't with us tonight. Moving on to some juicy celebrity news, Nicki Minaj is back at #1 on multiple Billboard charts with her song Win Again. But here's the twist, it's not a new track. Her devoted fan base, the Barbs, have made this 2018 song a surprise hit, likely as a strategic move to steal the spotlight from Cardi B's big week. We dive into the numbers and the drama between these two rap queens. And finally, we're talking Saturday Night Live. The latest episode featured a star-studded lineup, including host Amy Poehler and musical guest role model. We highlight some of the standout sketches, including a parody commercial for non-alcoholic beer and a pitch-perfect parody of Netflix's The Hunting Wives. With a great mix of classic and modern humor, SNL continues to balance current events with lighthearted comedy, making it a beloved favorite among audiences. That's all for tonight's podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon. Now for the latest in nature and environment, here is David Attenacher.
Thank you, Joan. Firstly, we reported on the alarming decline of coral reefs due to rising ocean temperatures, acidification, and changes in circulation patterns. This has far-reaching consequences for many species, from tiny plankton to massive blue whales. However, scientists have also discovered new species adapting to these changing conditions, showcasing the resilience of life in the face of adversity. Secondly, we explored the impact of marine heat waves on the ocean's carbon cycle. Researchers utilized biogeochemical Argo floats to monitor the movement of carbon particles up and down the water column, providing a unique glimpse into the inner workings of this vital system. While the findings are concerning, continued research and monitoring can help us develop effective strategies for mitigating the effects of climate change. Lastly, we delved into the fascinating world of oceanic discoveries, where scientists have found species migrating to deeper waters in response to warming surface temperatures. This remarkable adaptation allows them to survive and even thrive in areas with more stable conditions. These findings emphasize the importance of conservation efforts, such as protecting marine habitats, reducing pollution, and promoting sustainable fishing practices. As we move forward, it's essential to acknowledge the intricate relationships between human activities, climate change, and the natural world. By working together to address these issues, we can ensure a healthier, more resilient planet for generations to come. That's all for tonight's summary. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the fascinating world of environmental science and conservation. Until next time, good night, and let's continue to explore and protect our incredible planet. And that completes our evening podcast for today. Thank you for listening. Until tomorrow morning, I'm David Attenacher for AIDailyPress, the world's most unbiased news source.